Have you ever been in a room where everyone was excited about something, but your own brain felt absolutely nothing? Millions of people can scream at the TV during the Super Bowl, plan parties, argue about teams, laugh at commercials, and treat the night like a national ritual. But for some people, the Super Bowl creates no emotional spark at all. No excitement, no suspense, no deep sense of belonging. Just the strange feeling of watching everyone else care about something that feels completely meaningless to you. And that raises a deeper psychological question. Why does one person's brain turn the Super Bowl into an emotional experience, while another person's brain treats it like background noise? Before we get into it, if you enjoy calm, thoughtful psychology videos that explain everyday feelings in a deeper way, consider subscribing to Thalvyn Psychology, because today we are not just talking about football. There is a much larger group of people than most of us realize who genuinely do not care about the Super Bowl. They are not pretending to be different. They are not trying to look smarter, cooler, or more independent than everyone else. The event simply does not create an emotional response in them. And that can feel uncomfortable when the whole culture seems to be excited at the same time. When everyone around you is laughing, cheering, planning parties, and treating the game like a shared national moment, your own indifference can start to feel suspicious. You may wonder if something is missing in you, but nothing is wrong with you. You do not hate people. You do not hate joy. You simply do not feel what they feel. The brain is not born already knowing how to get excited about a touchdown. It does not automatically understand team colors, final scores, rivalries, or championship games. For many people, caring about sports is something that gets built over time. It is shaped by family, childhood memories, friends, local culture, and repeated emotional experiences. Some people love the Super Bowl because they grew up in rooms where parents were cheering, food was on the table, and everyone seemed connected by the same ritual. Over the years, the brain learns to connect the game with warmth, belonging, and tradition. But if you never had those memories, the game may feel distant. Sometimes people do not love the game itself. They love the memories attached to the game. Sports also reach into something much older in human psychology. They touch our tribal instincts. When a team wins, many fans do not experience it as something that happened to strangers on a field. They experience it as something that happened to them. Psychologists sometimes call this basking in reflected glory. It means your brain can borrow pride from the success of a group you identify with. So when someone says, "We won," they are not just talking about a score, they are talking about identity. They are cheering for a city, a family tradition, a childhood memory, a community, and a social version of themselves. To someone outside that emotional world, this can look confusing. Why should a person feel happy or miserable all day because of a game they did not control? Another reason some people do not care about the Super Bowl is that every brain has a different appetite for stimulation. Some people enjoy loud rooms, emotional tension, competition, surprise, and constant shifts in excitement. For them, the Super Bowl feels like an energy festival. The noise, the cheering, the suspense, and the social pressure all become part of the fun. But for someone who prefers calmer experiences, that same environment can feel draining. The shouting can feel sharp. The commercials can feel excessive. The arguments can feel pointless. The crowd can feel overwhelming. This does not mean one person is more fun or the other person is more thoughtful. It simply means their nervous systems are different. One person's excitement can be another person's exhaustion. Not caring about the Super Bowl does not mean someone hates community. It does not mean they dislike people, connection, or shared experiences. It may simply mean they find belonging somewhere else. Some people feel connected through books, music, video games, online groups, art, technology, Formula One, movies, or quiet personal interests that never appear on national television. Society often confuses not joining a common ritual with not wanting connection at all. But many people who do not care about football still deeply want to belong. They just do not find that feeling inside the Super Bowl. For them, a deep conversation, a small community, or a quiet evening with someone they love may feel far more meaningful than a loud event everyone is expected to watch. There is also a question of control. When you watch a game, you can scream at the television, pray for a field goal, wear your lucky shirt, or sit in the exact same chair every year. But none of those things actually changes what happens on the field. Some people enjoy that emotional ride anyway. For them, the feeling is the point. The suspense, the hope, and the disappointment are all part of the experience. But other people find that kind of emotional investment deeply unsatisfying. They prefer to spend their mental energy on things where their effort creates a direct outcome. They do not want a referee's decision, a missed throw, or a stranger's mistake to control their mood. For some people, emotional investment without control feels exciting. For others, it feels irrational. Modern life is already full of things fighting for your attention. Notifications, deadlines, negative news, money pressure, social media, family problems, and everyday stress can leave the mind feeling crowded before the game even begins. So for some people, the Super Bowl does not feel like a relaxing escape. It feels like one more event demanding emotional energy they may not have. Not everyone has enough inner space left for another loud national moment. When someone is already tired from work, relationships, finances, or private struggles, a crowded party may not feel entertaining. It may feel like another social task. For highly sensitive people especially, the noise, lights, shouting, television, commercials, and constant conversation can become exhausting. What feels like fun for one person may feel like recovery time being stolen from another. Sports are exciting, partly because nobody knows what will happen next. For many fans, that uncertainty is the thrill. Every play carries possibility. Every mistake can change the mood of the entire room, but not everyone experiences uncertainty as entertainment. For some people, suspense feels less like fun and more like stress. It is similar to horror movies. Some people enjoy feeling scared in a safe environment, while others cannot understand why anyone would choose that feeling on purpose. The Super Bowl can work the same way. To a fan, the tension feels alive. To someone else, 3 hours of emotional pressure over an outcome that does not change their real life can feel like voluntary anxiety. Suspense is only fun when your nervous system agrees to play along. The Super Bowl is not just a game anymore. It is the commercials, the halftime show, the food, the parties, the jokes, the conversations, and the collective ritual around it. That is why not caring can feel more lonely than people expect. You are not only missing interest in football, you are standing outside a shared emotional moment. Everyone around you seems to understand the same invisible code. They laugh at the ads. They argue about the plays. They react to the halftime show. They cheer, groan, and bond through the same experience. But you may feel like you cannot enter that emotional state. And this does not happen only with sports. People can feel the same distance at parties, holidays, concerts, social media trends, or family events. Sometimes, the loneliness is not about being alone. It is about being surrounded by people who are feeling something you cannot access. But sometimes, there does not need to be a deep psychological explanation. Not every difference has to become a diagnosis, a theory, or a hidden problem in the brain. Some people simply do not like football. Just like some people do not like cilantro, techno music, true crime podcasts, or horror movies. Human beings have different tastes. And that should not be surprising. A person who loves the Super Bowl is not wrong. A person who feels nothing during the Super Bowl is not wrong either. We differ in what excites us, what drains us, what connects us, and what feels meaningful. The problem is not that you do not care. The problem is that society sometimes makes you feel guilty for not reacting like the crowd. You do not have to care about something just because millions of people do. Your mind is allowed to choose its own meaning. So, if the Super Bowl has never meant much to you, maybe there is nothing wrong with you at all. Maybe your brain simply finds meaning in quieter places, different communities, and experiences that feel more personal to you. And if you love the Super Bowl, that is valid too. The point is not that one way of experiencing the world is better than another. The point is that human beings do not all attach meaning to the same things. And maybe that difference is what makes culture interesting in the first place. If this video helped you understand yourself or someone around you in a slightly deeper way, subscribe to Thalvyn Psychology. Here, we explore the quiet psychology behind everyday feelings most people never stop to question.